In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the antenna base on your Toyota Tacoma. This will be located behind the passenger side front fender. Let's get started. Using a 10mm socket, loosen the negative terminal for the battery. Using an antenna mast tool or an 8mm wrench, we're going to remove the antenna mast. Break it free, spin it out, remove the antenna mast. To remove the antenna base, you have to take off the antenna mounting nut, and you have to take off the bezel, and then the base will pop down. On our antenna base on the car, our antenna nut will not come off. We're going to cut a slice through the bezel, through the nut, and try and hit these threads right here to try and loosen up the nut to be able to spin it off and remove the base. We have our fender taped up so we don't put any sparks on the paint. We're going to cut a little slot and take our nut off. We're going to pull the boot off of the bezel just so we can get a better look. So after cutting the one slot, we were still unable to remove the mounting nut. We're going to make two more cuts, one on this side and one on this side. And then we're hopefully going to be able to pull the nut to the front, pull it out, and the base should drop out. Remove the mounting nut. Now that we have most of our nut cut away, we're going to use a pair of pliers, and we're gently going to pry on this bezel on the top and bottom. Be sure you don't have any of the paint on your pliers. We're going to slowly wiggle this until the bezel pops off. Using a pair of clip pliers, we're going to remove the 3 plastic clips. Ours only has 2. There should be a third right here. Remove the 3 10mm bolts for the splash guard. There's one more on the bottom and the back. Remove the splash guard. Using a 10mm socket, remove the 3 10mm bolts for the wheel arch. There's one more on the bottom of the wheel arch. Grab the bottom of the wheel arch, pull up. When you pull up, you'll see where the plastic is still holding to the metal. We're going to slide our hand up to that point and pull straight out and pop the clip. Continue doing this around the whole fender. Remove the wheel arch. Using a right angle pick, we're going to remove all of the plastic clips around the fender liner. To do this, we're going to go in the back. There's going to be 2 tabs that we want to push on. Our first tab is in the back. We're going to push on that and pull out. Come to the front, push on it, and you can remove the clip. These 2 tabs that we're trying to push on are right here. And on the back side right here, push on the tab and pull it up slightly. Get this outside of the fender metal, and then flop it to the other side, or take your pick, reach over to the other side and push on that tab and pull it out. Repeat this process for all of these plastic clips going around the fender liner. I'm using this fork tool. It's able to push on both of the tabs at the same time, and then I'm able to pull the clip out. Pull back the inner fender liner. Remove the 10mm bolt for the antenna base. Going through the fender liner, we're going to pick up on the bracket, pull down, and remove the antenna base. On the inside, this is the bracket that we're looking at. This little tab right here is sitting on a mounting bracket. We just have to lift up to unlock that, and then we can pull down. Now that we're done cutting, we're going to remove the tape. Using a detailing spray and a clean rag, we're going to clean the fender where the bezel sat. Reaching up inside of the fender, we're going to remove the grommet. Just pull it out and let it dangle, and then we'll go inside of the car and unplug the connector. Using a small pick, we're going to pop the trim covers off of the handle, go into the bottom, hinge up, behind there will be two 10mm bolts. Remove the screws. Remove the handle. Pull down at the top of the A-pillar. It'll pop out of place. We're going to pull it towards us and then out from the front of the dash and remove the A-pillar. Here's the connector for our antenna. Push on the tab, pull back, remove the connector. Leave this cord up and out. Now we're going to pop these plastic stays and pull our harness through the fender. Using a trim tool, we're going to pop out these plastic clips. There's one right there. There's one right down here. Open the glove box. We're going to pinch the two sides of the glove box together and it'll drop down. You can either fully remove the glove box just by pulling it out of the hooks, or you can just leave it dangling. There's one more plastic stay behind the glove box compartment. Once you have the 3 plastic stays removed, I'm going to pull my harness down into this area, and we're going to be able to easily pull it through the fender. Remove the antenna, pull the harness out, install the antenna base, feed the harness through the hole, feed the harness all the way in, and install the grommet. Be sure the grommet is fully seated. Push the antenna up and into place, and set the bracket on the mounting bracket. Install the antenna bezel, install the antenna nut, snug down the nut by hand, using a pair of needle nose pliers, we're going to snug down the nut. Go until it bottoms out. Install the antenna mast. Snug it down by hand. Once you have the antenna mast tightened by hand, we're going to install this tool over the top of the mast. Slide it all the way down to the base. We're going to turn this up to 45 degrees, but no farther. Install the bolt for the bracket of the base. Snug the bolt down by hand, but don't tighten it. We want this to be able to slightly float while we install the top bezel and nut. Snug down the bolt for the bracket base. Make sure it's nice and snug. We're going to pull the antenna harness up to the A-pillar. We're going to go behind, push it up, feed it all the way up until you can grab it at the A-pillar. Install the plastic stay. Install the plastic stay just behind the first one. Right here. One last one behind the glove compartment. Install the connector. Push until you hear a click. If you don't, give it a pull. Make sure it's locked on. Install the A-pillar trim. We're going to get it started in the dash side first. Make sure this is lined up and sitting correctly and flush with the dash. We're going to install it into the top, push it into place, and it'll clip in. Double check the fitment on this A-pillar. Be sure it's nice and flush with the dash. Install the handle. Get the bolt started. Snug the bolts down. Install the trim caps. Install the glove box. We're going to push these hooks onto these two bottom poles. Close the lid. Install the clips for the fender liner. Push them straight in. Install the front wheel arch. We're going to get the front started. Go around and get all of the clips popped in for the front wheel arch. Install the bolt for the bottom of the wheel arch. Install the bolts going all the way around the wheel arch. There should be one right here, and there should be one more right here. Ours are rotted out. We have one more in the front right here. Install the bolts for the splash guard. Snug them down. Install the plastic clips. Install the negative battery cable. Snug it down.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.